Today we've got the first real look at the Pixel 11 Pro thanks to OnLeaks as well as plenty of its spec confirmation, and there's something that most of you are going to be happy to see. So before we get into the design reveal, let's talk about what's happening with the cameras, because this is where things get really interesting. The Pixel 11 Pro looks set to take a big step forward in multiple areas, especially when it comes to the video. Now, Google is reportedly testing major improvements to ultra-low light video recording with footage that remains usable at around 5 to 10 lux, and that's basically near darkness. And if that translates well into real-world use, that's a huge leap forward. Now, on top of that, we're hearing about 100 times AI-assisted zoom system. Now, normally when phones advertise at 100 times zoom, it ends up looking like a blurry mess when you actually try and use it, but leaks suggest that Google is aiming for something far more usable, and it's likely combining the optical data with AI reconstruction to actually retain detail. Now, this is probably going to be exclusive to the Pro models, but it's still a big step forward. Where things really start to stand out though is something called Video Generative ML. And instead of just editing photos, Google is bringing its AI tools directly into video. Now that means removing objects, enhancing scenes, repairing noise, or even changing the background, all inside the standard Google Photo app. And when you combine that with Google's wider AI ecosystem across Photos, Gemini, and YouTube, the Pixel 11 Pro starts to feel less like a phone and more like a portable production studio. Now, leaks are also suggesting that the under-display infrared camera could return, and this would allow a proper face unlock again without needing a large cutout on the front of the display, so a cleaner design but still fully functional. And something else that will improve your comfort is today's video sponsor, the autonomous Ergo Chair Pro.
Now, as you guys know, I spend a lot of time sat at my desk editing and working, so having a comfortable chair actually makes a big difference, and this one has been a solid upgrade. Now, the main thing I like is how adjustable it is. You can really dial it in to exactly how you sit. Now, I've been tweaking things like the lumbar support and the armrest, and it just feels a lot more supportive over a full day. And one thing I notice pretty quickly is that when you lean back, the seat stays level, so you don't get that extra pressure on your legs that I've had from other chairs. It's also really breathable, so you're not getting too hot when you're sat in it for hours. Now, you can choose between a foam or mesh seat depending on what you prefer. And I went with the foam cushion, and it's actually been really comfortable. It's also really easy to set up and install, and it only took me 10 minutes straight out of the box. So if you're spending a lot of time at your desk and want something comfortable without going crazy on the price tag, it's definitely worth checking out. And of course, I've placed a link down in the description below, as well as the pinned comment.
Now back to the Pixel 11 Pro, we've got news of a really important upgrade that you won't actually see, but you're definitely going to feel it in everyday use, and that's the modem. For years, Pixel phones have struggled with signal stability and overheating, but that could finally change. Multiple leaks suggest Google is planning to drop Samsung's modem and move over to MediaTek's new M90 modem instead. And if that happens, we could see noticeably faster 5G speeds, support for dual SIM dual active, new satellite connectivity features, and most importantly, better battery life because the modem won't be generating as much heat internally. Now, it's one of those upgrades that doesn't sound very exciting, but in real-world use, it could be one of the biggest improvements to the Pixel line. Now, powering all of this is the next generation Tensor G6, and this is rumored to be Google's first chip built on a 2nm process, possibly using TSMC's N2 node. It's expected to feature a new 7-core architecture on a smaller die with higher clock speeds, but more importantly, Google isn't chasing raw benchmark numbers here. Instead, the focus is on efficiency, thermal control, and AI performance. Now that means faster image processing and smoother real-time AI features, improved battery life, and overall performance that just feels quicker and more responsive without draining all the power. Now, battery and charging upgrades are also looking really promising, with Qi 2 magnetic wireless charging heavily rumored. Battery capacities are also expected to increase, and when you combine that with the efficiency gains from the Tensor G6, we should see noticeably better overall endurance. And when it comes to pricing, the Pixel 11 is expected to stay close to last year's model, so that's around $799 or £799 for the base version, although as always, depending on the region, a small increase wouldn't be too surprising. Now next up, we've got the design leak from OnLeaks and Android headlines, and this is where things start to visually change. For those of you unfamiliar, OnLeaks is usually incredibly accurate with these early design leaks, so you can be pretty sure that these images are correct, and I've also used these images for the base of my renders. Now from the front it looks very similar to the previous generation, but around the back there are some noticeable changes. First up, the camera bar is now completely blacked out, with only the frame keeping the body color of the phone. And then secondly, the camera flash has been moved to the center, and that's because the temperature sensor has been removed, and if we're being honest, that's probably the right decision. It was one of those features that you try a couple of times and then never really use it again, so it makes sense for Google to simplify things and just get rid of it. Now of course, the renders you're seeing here are based on CAD data from OnLeaks, and this means that they accurately represent the design, but not the final colors. So the colors here are all estimates, and we'll update them as soon as we get any confirmation. But for those of you excited for the Pixel 11 series, we're now going to run through the full specs, design, and the expected pricing to help you guys decide which model is right for you. So hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. So first, we've got the standard Pixel 11, which comes with a 6.3-inch 120Hz OLED display protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 3. It's coming with a resolution of 1080 by 2424, along with improvements to peak brightness and overall color accuracy. And although it does keep the same display size as its predecessor, the overall dimensions are slightly slimmer. We get a punch-hole camera top center to house a 12-megapixel selfie camera, now paired with an under-display IR sensor for a secure face unlock. Then over on the rear, we've got a refined triple camera setup, continuation of what we saw on the Pixel 10, but with upgraded sensors and AI processing. So that's a 50-megapixel primary camera, a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera, and a 48-megapixel telephoto with 3x optical zoom and improved macro capabilities. Now the phone's going to be powered by the new Tensor G6 chipset, which is built on a 2nm process. That's going to bring major boosts to efficiency, thermals, and on-device AI. It's going to be paired with 12GB of RAM and a choice of 128 or 256GB storage, which will be UFS 4. And then power's going to come from a 5000 mAh battery with 30W wired charging and Qi 2 magnetic wireless charging. And then connectivity is going to include 5G, Bluetooth 5.4, Wi-Fi 7, and the new MediaTek M90 modem offering faster 5G, dual SIM support, satellite connectivity, and improved power efficiency. Now it's of course launching with Android 17, and it's going to be expected to launch around August 2026, and it's going to start from £799 or $799. Now next up, we've got the Pixel 11 Pro, and this comes with a 6.4-inch LTPO OLED display running at 120Hz and again protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 3. The resolution is going to be 1344 by 2868, and it's been upgraded for even higher peak brightness and thinner bezels. We've got a punch-hole camera top center for a new 42-megapixel selfie camera capable of 4K HDR video. Then over on the rear, it packs a triple camera setup featuring a 50-megapixel primary camera, a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera, and then a 64-megapixel periscope camera with 10x optical zoom and enhanced macro performance. Now thanks to Google's new AI zoom engine, it can achieve up to 100x hybrid zoom while still maintaining impressive levels of detail. Now it's powered by the same Tensor G6 chipset as the base model. It's built on the 2nm process and tuned for maximum AI and efficiency gains. It's paired with up to 16GB of RAM and up to 1TB of storage, which will of course be UFS 4. And it's going to be powered by a 5100 mAh battery with 45W fast wired charging and Qi 2 wireless charging. For connectivity, we get 5G, Bluetooth 5.4, Wi-Fi 7, ultra-wideband support, and of course the MediaTek M90 modem. The Pixel 11 Pro of course ships with Android 17 straight out of the box with 7 years of updates, and it's expected to launch around August 2026 starting from £999 or $999. Now finally, we've got the Pixel 11 Pro XL, the biggest and the most premium model in the lineup. It features a 6.9-inch LTPO OLED display with Gorilla Glass Victus 3 protection. Again, it's going to be offering the top-tier brightness and color accuracy. We get the same 42-megapixel punch-hole camera as the Pro in the top center. It's capable of 4K video in HDR. We get full AI portrait processing as well. And then over on the back, we get a 50-megapixel primary camera, a 48-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 64-megapixel periscope camera with 10x optical zoom and up to 100x AI zoom. It also supports ultra-low light video recording down to 5 to 10 lux, which is pretty much full darkness. and it's going to be powered entirely by on-device AI. Now under the hood, it's powered by the Tensor G6 paired with 16 gigs of RAM and up to 1 TB of UFS 4 storage. It's running a 5400 mAh battery with 45-watt wired charging, Qi 2 magnetic wireless charging, and of course reverse wireless charging as well. For connectivity, we've got 5G, Bluetooth 5.4, Wi-Fi 7, ultra-wideband, and satellite SOS. It ships with Android 17, and Google promises another 7 years of software support, and it's expected to launch from £1,199 or $1,199, and again that's going to be in August 2026. So overall, the Pixel 11 is really shaping up to be a strong upgrade to the lineup. The design changes are subtle, but Google has clearly focused on what actually matters, improving hardware and software, especially around the cameras and everyday usability. Now as always, AI is going to play a huge role, and this could be one of the most advanced Pixel experiences that we've seen yet. Now that said, given the similarities to the previous generation, it's probably not going to make Pixel 10 users rush for an upgrade, but for anyone on an older Pixel or looking to try out their first one, this could be a great time to jump in. Now with launch expected around late August, we're still a little way off, so expect plenty more leaks and confirmations in the coming weeks, and of course I'm going to be sharing them as soon as they come in, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.